We're wrapping it up with the last segment of this spoiler series. Today, we're taking a look at the multicolored artifacts and lands in Rivals of Ixalan. Let's go. Hello everybody, welcome back to the final segment of the Rivals of Ixalan spoiler series, Commanding Magic, Season 2, Episode 18. Travis and Brandon here, ready to bring it on home. Brandon, are you ready for this?
Yeah, it's taken a while to get here, but I think we're really into the real meat of the set right here.
The meat and potatoes, as it were. Mm-hmm. And Brandon is going to take us into a big, juicy piece of steak with Azor, the Lawbringer.
All right, so Azor, the Lawbringer. 2 white, blue. So
reasonable.
And first thing I want to say here, we're going to get into some spoilers. I'm not going to lie.
All right.
So skip a little far ahead if you don't want to hear any spoilers.
A spoiler alert.
Yeah. So the mana cost is the Ravnican Guild Leader's mana cost, basically, which is fantastic. Because most of the Ravnican Guild Leaders from Return to Ravnica, at least, had that kind of mana cost.
What was the other blue-white guy? What the hell was the name of that?
Asperia?
Is it Asperia? Or ES?
Isperia.
Supreme Judge. I'm just going to search that.
That works too.
There we go. So immediately here, we're seeing some correlation, but continue.
Yep. So Azor was the founder on Ravnica.
Yeah, the Azorius Guild.
So, what is this dude doing here? How did this random Sphinx dude get here?
What dude?
Planeswalker. He is a old walker like Bolas. He used his spark to create the immortal sun, which we will get to later. So, that's a lot to take in, because that's crazy as far as I'm concerned.
Like just giving up your spark.
Yeah.
For sure.
To create a thing that traps planeswalkers in a plane.
And he's just been chilling here.
Yeah.
As like the guardian of Erazga or what?
Of the Immortal Sun, presumably.
Man.
So,
What's this card actually do, though?
So, this card actually does. He's a 6/6, by the way, with flying.
That's good.
When Azor the Lawbringer enters the battlefield, each opponent can't cast instant or sorcery spells during that player's next turn. So, Sphinx's Decree.
But there's more.
But there is more. And whenever he attacks, Sphinx's Revelation.
My keyboard screwed me over on that one.
Oh, man.
My keyboard likes to do multiple S's when I hit S.
Mine does C.
Okay. So we're in the same boat here.
Yes.
Holy smokes.
Every time he attacks, you just Sphinxes. Which is great. Fantastic.
This card
I'm not going to complain.
This card just... I don't really play blue-white, but it's like this is one of those commanders that makes me want to do blue-white.
Like, you gotta... This is where the Sphinx's Revelation was learned from, was Azor.
So just running Azor as your commander and running Asperia and Sphinx's Rev in your deck just makes me feel good inside just thinking about it. I'm like, oh man. Just because all of the artwork for all of those cards is so good. And it just opens up a lot more fun stuff that you could do with blue-white, like messing around with like, if you want to do like a little bit of a Sphinx theme, you could do that. But you could also do like an Azorius theme. And there's a ton of stuff you could do with that. So
right.
Wow.
So I'm going to get into one more quick spoiler thing, mainly for story reasons.
Sure.
So Azor was the original creator of the Guild Pact, which made all the guilds, sign the thing, and they wouldn't be mean
to each
basically. And then dissension happened, and the Guild Pact was broken, and then Jay showed up. Many years later, Return to Ravnica happened. He became the Living Guild Pact. He is still the Living Guild Pact as of right now. He does not know it until he regains his memories, and then he meets Azor. What's going to happen?
I don't know.
Is Azor going to know that he's the Living Guild Pact?
I almost want like Azor to know. Just he has like instinctively he knows,
right?
And because of that, he wants to like help
him out.
Jace. Because it's like, you are like what's preserving my legacy, you know?
Exactly.
Like, because everybody took their Sharpies and signed your back, saying that we'll be good,
but
or whatever.
He also created the maze that everybody ran during Dragon's Maze.
Oh, really? That's pretty sweet.
Yep.
Wow.
So
yeah, this card is firing on all cylinders. This is an awesome card.
Yep.
But next up, we have another legendary for the Merfolk tribe. So this is another Simic legendary. So 1 green blue for Kamena, Tyrant of Erazga. Being a 2/4 Merfolk Shaman, and its abilities are as follows. Tap another untapped Merfolk you control. Kamena, Tyrant of Erazga, can't be blocked this turn, so that opens up Voltron synergies for him. Tap 3 untapped Merfolk you control, draw a card. That's just awesome, because you draw cards using your Merfolk that would otherwise not be doing anything, let's say at the end of an opponent's turn or something like that. And then for tapping 5 untapped Merfolk control, put a +1/+1 counter on each Merfolk you control. So
each of his abilities are flavorful with the character he is.
I think that this might just be the Simic Merfolk commander that everyone's been waiting for, because Tishana was cool and everything. Damn it, the double S getting me again. Damn it.
I wanna say again, like going back to Ravnica, that we have blue-green Merfolk on Ravnica. I mean, I don't want to make any connections here or anything.
Right.
But just
but
saying.
like, if you look at Tishana, there's no real Merfolk synergy here.
Right.
So in the Kamena deck, Tishana is part of the 99.
Exactly.
Along with Prime Speaker Zagana. You know?
And a couple of the other ones.
Damn it, double R. I just did that because I ham-fisted it. But yeah, so like I said, the opportunities for building the Merfolk Commander deck have never been better than they are now.
Right. So how about you take this next one, and then I'll take the one after that. So
Elenda.
The last one on this list.
Elenda, the Dusk Rose. This is our vampire legendary. Our the hell's the name of that guild? Orzhov. Yeah, there we go. I keep wanting to say Erazga just because I'm on favor right now.
Right.
So so 4, 2 and a white and a black for a 1/1. So 4 for a 1/1, whatever.
Something's not adding up here.
It's a vampire knight with some pretty sweet artwork. I love that sword that they're holding. Has lifelink, and then whenever another creature dies, put a +1/+1 counter on a Land of the Dusk Rose. So immediately in black, you're opening up some huge potential there. And then when Elenda dies, you create X 1/1 white vampire creature tokens with lifelink, where X is Elenda's power. So this is back to what one we just talked about in what card was it that we just talked about that made stuff when the thing died?
I don't know.
I forget. It was down here somewhere. It came in with.
We've gone through a lot of cards today.
Lots of cards. Spoiler alert. This is all being recorded in one evening. So
yeah.
So it goes back to the cards like Kinsbale Border Guard, where you get some sort of positive thing when the creature dies, based on a set number of variables. So is it the best commander for Orzhov vampires? Probably not.
No, but you probably want to throw it in your Markov deck.
Yeah, that's right. Into the 99 it goes. Next up, we are going into 2 cards. The Planeswalkers of the set.
Yeah, only the 2.
Only the 2. 2 Planeswalkers in this set.
One of which everybody's happy to see. Whether or not he's good, but everybody's at least happy to see. Engrath, the Flame Chain.
The Flame Chain.
He's 3 of black and red for a 4 loyalty legendary Planeswalker. Remember, Planeswalkers are all legendary now. So, first ability, +1. Each opponent discards a card and loses 2 life.
Each opponent. That's a thing. Each opponent.
Yeah.
Not each player. Not like Liliana of the Veil, which is each player. This is each opponent, right?
Yeah. So that's fine.
Yeah.
It's -3. Gain control of target creature until end of turn. Untap it. It gains haste until end of turn. Sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step if it has CMC 3 or less.
Weird.
So,
this is a weird ability.
Don't steal anything higher than 3 CMC, basically.
I guess, or
unless you're going to win the game.
Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of, it leaves your options open. Like, you get to keep it if it's CMC 3 or less. But if it's more, you have to. They get it back, right? So
Right.
Or no, you sacrifice it. Sorry. So I mean, there's really no drawback here.
Yeah.
So they either just lose their big creature, or you permanently take control of their tiny creature. That's pretty sweet. Goes in the Minotaur deck.
Does it though?
Oh yes.
Oh man.
What about his ulti?
So, ultimate -8. Each opponent loses life equal to the number of cards in his or her graveyard. Ugh.
This could be good or it could be bad.
Yes, this is extremely situational.
Very situational.
But if Innistrad was still in standard,
yeah,
this would be stupid.
Yeah.
But I mean, even with Amonkhet though, because you're interacting with the things that come back and
stuff.
That. But yeah.
Yeah.
But Minotaur Planeswalker though.
Yeah. So we have
Looks
a Minotaur
badass.
God and a Minotaur Planeswalker.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Why can't we have both as the same one? Tune in next time.
Yeah. So next
Okay,
up,
Travis, tell us about the best Planeswalker ever created.
not the best Planeswalker ever created. Brandon texted me this card while I was working, and I could not smash my finger onto my screen fast enough to pull this card up on the website so I could see it in its glory. As fans of the channel know, green white is my favorite.
I mean,
is my
I'm
favorite
not
color
gonna lie.
combination.
I am a huge fan of this card as well.
And there's a little bit of a spoiler in the background for a card we haven't spoke of yet. I just love green white, and seeing green white planeswalkers is really, really awesome because we've only seen a Johnny in multiple forms until now. So this is the first green white planeswalker since a Johnny.
Yeah,
and
but a Johnny has been in multiple colors. So
yeah.
This is our first salt. Well, she's also been in red
white, which is another one of my favorite color combinations. So this is Huatli, Radiant Champion. So 4 mana, comes in with 3 loyalty, and +1, put a loyalty counter on Huatli, Radiant Champion for each creature you control. Whoa, that's great.
You can get to that ultimate in 1 turn.
-1, target creature gets +X/+X until end of turn, where X is the number of creatures you control. That's a -1.
Yeah.
And then -8, you get an emblem with whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, you may draw a card.
Done.
I like this. This is a planeswalker made for me. Yeah. This is a planeswalker made for me.
Yeah.
The one biggest thing that I have seen as something to be contrary to this planeswalker is that this planeswalker does nothing unless you have creatures on the battlefield.
Yeah.
It is strictly contingent on you having some sort of board presence.
Yeah. But green-white, that's not that hard to do.
I am fine with taking that chance.
Yep.
Because
I would be as well.
I think this card is just awesome. I love the artwork. It's green-white. It does a ton of things that I want green-white things to do. So there you go. Next up is our cycle of enchantments that turn into lands.
Yeah.
So why don't you tell us about Path of Metal?
Path of Metal is...
Not to be confused with metal. This is metal. Not metal.
Metal.
Metal. Right. Now that we've got that cleared up.
Red and white. For a legendary enchantment, when Path of Metal enters the battlefield, it deals 1 damage to each creature that doesn't have First Strike, Double Strike, Vigilance, or Haste. So most dinosaurs. Okay?
Right.
So, whenever you attack with at least 2 creatures that have First Strike, Double Strike, Vigilance, and or Haste, transform Path of Metal. That's not that hard to do in red-white. Let me just say that right now.
How do you transform stuff? Oh, it's just you scroll it to the side. There we go.
So, after it's transformed, we have Metzali, Tower of Triumph. It's a legendary land. Tap to add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool.
Red.
Any color, so
Red.
you don't have to make red or white.
Red.
So, fantastic. 1 in red, tap. It deals 2 damage to each opponent. Okay. 2 in a white, and tap. Choose a creature at random that attack this turn and destroy that creature. Oh,
love that. Does this go into Tajik?
Maybe. I could easily get it flipped. I'm not going to lie.
I was going to say maybe. How's this maybe? It turns into a land, which our play group doesn't run into land destruction because land destruction sucks. And then it can deal damage to opponents. But more than that, for
It can
essentially
destroy a creature.
essentially for 4 mana. You're choosing a creature at random that attack this turn.
The problem is that getting that red white.
What?
Getting the red that
Like early on?
yes.
Oh, okay, I see what you mean.
Having the red and the white by turn 2 so I can activate preferably by turn 3.
All right, fair enough. Next up is Hadana's Climb. I like this card a lot.
It is pretty good.
This is a 3-mana legendary enchantment.
Cycle that was spoiled.
Yeah, this is a 3-mana legendary enchantment. This is at the beginning of combat on your turn. It's not you may. It says put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Then, if that creature has 3 or more +1/+1 counters on it, transform Hadana's Climb, and it transforms into Winged Temple of Erazka, which says tap to add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool, which is rad. And then for 1 green blue and tap, target creature you control gains flying and gets +X/+X till the end of turn, where X is its power.
Hey Travis, guess what?
What?
Tiny Leader's playable.
Oh, this card is sweet.
It's pretty good.
I love this card. Like, I don't play the +1/+1 counters deck or anything, but I don't care. This card's probably gonna go into
What's it called?
You know, the blue
green good stuff.
Yes, whatever that stupid legendary is called, Rashmi.
Yeah.
I think this card is sweet. I don't care if, like, I'm not necessarily going to get to that +1/+1 counters right away. Like, you just get that incremental little bit of benefit every turn, and it's like a clock that your opponent can see, so it puts the pressure on them in that way. And if they don't deal with that creature, it just gets crazy.
Yep.
This card's sick. Profane Procession, Brandon.
1, a white and a black for a legendary enchantment. So you pay 3 a white and a black, exile target creature. Then if there are 3 or more cards exiled with Profane Procession, transform it.
So another interesting thing where it's like contingent on the things that card has done.
Right. So this isn't the one where you would exile the cards under this card to make sure you can count how many you have so you don't get it confused with anything else exiled.
Yeah.
So you transform it into Tomb of the Dusk Rose. Taps for a mana of any color. You can pay 2 white and a black, tap, put a creature card exiled with this permanent onto the battlefield under your control. So it's limited to 3, and then it's useless.
Which is interesting. This might just be one of the weaker of the ones that we've seen here.
Yeah.
I mean, Path of Metal is a little weird too, unless you really build around it. But Profane Procession, just being limited, and I guess now that I really read it, you have to pay 5 to exile a creature.
Unless you can manage to do this and then have the 2 creatures and then have enough mana to do it a bunch of times.
Yeah.
Because all those triggers would have to resolve, and then you would be sinking a lot of mana.
Yeah, and the biggest part about all these is just ensuring that the enchantment stays in play.
Right.
Because, I mean, Profane Procession probably most of all of them, and Hadana's Climb a little bit, unless you're building to make it so Hadana's Climb transforms immediately.
Right.
So,
which, like I said, that's what I would be doing Path of Metal for.
Yeah.
Is because Tajik can do that.
Yeah. Would I run Profane Procession in the Cleric deck? Probably, just for fun.
Yeah.
Like, that's the application I can think of for it. I think you should go over Storm the Vault. It's your wheelhouse.
I've not read this since it was spoiled, so
when this was spoiled, I thought it was going to be in Unstable because it got spoiled right in the midst of Unstable being spoiled. So I was like, oh, this is neat and Unstable, and I was like, hang on,
this is a real card.
This is in Rivals. So what's Storm the Vault?
Okay. So 2 blue and a red for a legendary enchantment. Whenever 1 or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, create a colorless treasure artifact creature. Artifact creature treasure, yeah.
Yeah, artifact creature
create
treasure.
some treasure. Then, at the beginning of your end step, if you control 5 or more artifacts, just artifacts. They don't have to be treasures. You can just control 5 artifacts. Transform Storm the Vault. Taps for mana of any color, and tap to add a blue for blue.
Yep.
It's so dumb. It's just Tolarian Academy, almost.
Yep.
But
Tolarian Academy. The card that I just wish was legal in Commander.
Right?
It never could be. Like,
no.
It's too easy. but Vault of Catlacan is pretty sweet.
I mean, if you're playing blue-red artifacts, this is
Yeah.
this is your Tolarian Academy.
Yeah. I didn't order one of these. Like I said, I only got stuff for the dinosaur deck, but there was a few cards that I was like,
Yeah.
do I go for it? No. It's like with most of these, if not all of them, I'm sure with how it's worked with most of the Magic sets in the past few years, after a couple months, you can just get whatever you like for a reasonable price.
Right.
So, not too worried about
it's like a crazy powerful card that he's played in Legacy.
Right. Like Fatal Push. And then they reprint it as an F&M foil or whatever.
And then there was a lot of drama that happened over that, but
yeah. So, Journey to Eternity is another card that I'm a little bit excited about. Even though I don't really have the Golgari deck, it's a deck that's always been in the back of my mind. Something that I've always wanted to do something with, but I've never pulled the trigger on. So for 1 and a black and a green, enchant creature you control. This is the only aura in the series. When enchanted creature dies, return it to the battlefield under your control, then return Journey to Eternity to the battlefield, transformed under your control. So it's like the creature comes back and this comes back. Like the power is on. And then it transforms into Atzal, Cave of Eternity, that taps for 1 of any color, and then for 5 mana and tapping it, so essentially for a 6 mana investment, return target creature from your graveyard to the battlefield.
So I read this card, and you know what card I immediately thought of?
What?
Gave.
Really?
Getting around that commander tax. 100%. I'd rather not have to pay all that extra commander tax. And I can just take all his counters away in one go and bring him right back.
Okay, so the only thing that I could see being a problem here is if, like, just graveyard hate. That's the only thing.
Right. Exactly.
But that's with any green-black deck, so maybe that's a moot point. But I like this card a lot. I mean, like, in my mind, I'm like, oh, why couldn't there have been a green-white one? But, you know.
That's what I was thinking, is like, we only get half. I hate when we get half.
Yeah, I agree. So would you mind if I took the next card, Brandon?
What's the next card, Travis?
Zakama, Primal Calamity.
Oh,
this is the card that I never knew I needed.
Until you seen it.
This is the 9 mana Naya Commander, Elder Dinosaur. It's 9 for a 9/9. Vigilance. It's got Reach. It's got Trample. And when Zakama, Primal Calamity, enters the battlefield, if you cast it, so blinking it, reanimating it, doesn't do anything, strictly if you cast it, untap all lands you control. But wait, there's more.
What?
For 2 and a red, deal 3 damage to target creature. For 2 and a green, destroy target artifact or enchantment. Jesus Christ. And then for 2 and a white, you gain 3 life. This card is the reason that I might not be building Grimlock anymore.
Exactly.
I was so unbelievably stoked for Grimlock to run dinosaurs and vehicles together and just make it silly and make it fun. But this card seems like it could be fun in a whole different way. This card, like, if you have stuff like Mana Reflection, Zendikar Resurgent,
Mirari.
Mirari's Wake. This card just goes bonkers. It, like, the one that I think will be used most here is the destroy target artifact or enchantment.
Right.
Because it's essentially when you cast it, you can destroy at least 3. You can activate at least 3 of these abilities. So this may very well be the commander of my deck. And a lot of people are talking about, like, is it better than Gishoth? Is it not better than Gishoth or whatever? I mean, at this point, I don't really care if it's better or not or whatever, because I like Gishoth. He's cool. I like him as a creature anyway. But this is like the Naya commander that I've been waiting for so long. And I said, you know, it's funny because I said that about Grimlock, and Grimlock has a multitude of uses. He can be the commander of a lot of different types of commander decks, but this card is like firmly cemented in like the Naya beatdown deck. He doesn't tap when he attacks. He can block flying creatures. He tramples over when he attacks. If you cast it when he enters the battlefield, untap all of your lands in a deck that focuses around playing huge creatures. That's exactly what you want. And even if you're not playing huge creatures, he has a plethora of abilities that you can use along with him. This card is crazy.
I agree.
I can't say enough about it. And like Command Zone did a great job at spoiling this card. Came right out of the gates with a deck list for it and a lot of cool tech.
Mm-hmm.
But man, this card is one for the ages in my book. As the premier Naya player in our play group. Love this card.
Well, as the premier Izzet player of
Next
the play
up
group
is
Protein Raider.
What is Protein Raider? He steals all the chicken.
Yep. Flavorful because it's turning into a dinosaur.
Yeah.
Anyway, Protein Raider is 1 blue-red for a 2/2 shapeshifter pirate. Okay. It's got raid. So if you attack with a creature this turn, you may have Protean Raider enter the battlefield as a copy of any creature on the battlefield.
If only he had Flash. Still a great card, but if he had Flash.
I still love it anyway.
I mean, this card comes into play as a copy of Zakama Primal Calamity.
Exactly.
You know?
And you know what? You cast him from your hand, too.
Oh, you're totally right. Because when he enters the battlefield, and it enters the... oh, my gosh. This card's sweet.
Yep.
Man.
But
and for 3 mana. That's totally reasonable.
But this card's... the only thing that's the downside is that it becomes a copy of the creature, but it is not a pirate in addition to its other types.
Oh, okay.
So you can't have a dinosaur pirate,
Dang it.
Unfortunately. But it's satisfying your need with the art.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
A dinosaur. You can see the hat on the dinosaur's head.
So it's a pirate in our hearts.
Yep. But the flavor text, imitation is the sincerest form of piracy.
Huh. There you go. That's perfect.
Yep.
Awesome card.
Okay, Travis. How about another card that was made just for you?
This card was made just for me, and Brandon so kindly told me. He said, "This is definitely a you card."
Yep.
This is Siegehorn Ceratops. This is 1 white, 1 green for a 2/2. The only way this card could have been any better if it were a 3/3, making it on par with like Watch Wolf and Fleece Mainline and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But I mean, at rare, maybe they could have done it because Fleece Mainline was a rare as well. But you know, can't win them all. This card is awesome anyway. So for 1 green and 1 white, you have a 2/2 dinosaur with enrage. Whenever he is dealt damage, put 2 +1/+1 counters on him. 2. That's more than 1. That's double 1.
Is it more than 1?
Oh, it's so much more than 1. It's 1 more than 1.
Is it?
And if you're going to be getting those enrage triggers, just like pinging him for 1, he becomes a 4/4. Ping him again, he becomes a 6/6. Ping him again, he becomes an 8/8. Just the incremental advantage here, especially on a creature that you could play early on, and you can just attack your opponent. And if they want to block with their mana dorks to preserve their life total, fine. If they don't, you can play your little red creatures that can tap to ping for 1. Like I'm definitely gonna have a couple of those in the dinosaur deck just for triggering enrage. It's so easy. This card is sweet. I love this card.
So why don't you also tell us about Atzakan Seer?
I will. Atzakan Seer is 3 mana for a 2/3 human druid. And at first I looked at this, I'm like, that's a bird person. No, it's a human wearing a bird person. That's creepy, just to go into how that all worked out.
Right.
So it taps for 1 of any color, which is already sweet, but then you can sack it to return target dinosaur card from your graveyard to your hand. Come on.
Get around that Zakama commander tax.
Like I said before, how they have made dinosaurs a really viable archetype really fast, it shows so much in this block because you just get a little bit of everything. A little like cards like this that aren't dinosaurs, and we had cards in Ixalan, the first set as well, that just interacted with dinosaurs, reducing their costs, adding mana of any color. If you have a dinosaur in play, do this. Things like that. Excellent. Like the set design for this fantastic block is second to none, in my opinion.
I feel like we've left the 2-set structure off on a very high.
Yeah, this is everything I could have wanted from the introduction of dinosaurs into the plethora of creature types that we have and can build decks off of. So,
So,
is
Deadeye Brawler.
Deadeye Brawler, Brandon.
2 blue-black. Human pirate. It's 2/4 with Death Touch and Ascend. Whenever Deadeye Brawler deals combat damage to a player, you may, if you have the city's blessing, draw a card.
So if you have the city's blessing, he's pretty good. But I guess even if you don't, he still has Death Touch.
He's still got Death Touch, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and he's got a decent amount of toughness.
Yeah, 4. So, that's no joke.
Yep. I really wanted to just talk about the name on the next one here. Dire Fleet Neckbreaker. Like, how more hardcore can you get than that?
Badass name, but attacking pirates get +2/+0?
Yeah.
Seems
good.
Buffs
itself. It doesn't say other attacking pirates. It just says attacking pirates.
Becomes a 5/2 when it attacks.
Mm-hmm.
Seems good. Jungle
Is
Creeper.
Jungle Creeper any good?
I'm not too much of a fan of it, but I think the artwork is very interesting.
Yeah.
I really like any of the cards that are see, it's an elemental. So you have the ethereal aspect of it, where it's just kind of like it is like an amalgamation of like ether with other stuff around it.
Exactly.
You know? Legion Lieutenant, however.
These next 2 cards are very exciting.
Yeah. Legion Lieutenant being an anthem effect for vampires. There's other vampires, doesn't buff itself, but that's something that we're used to at this point. Yeah. And then Merfolk Mistbinder, which is an awesome name as well. They did a really awesome job at naming these
Another
Merfolk.
Fantastic artwork. Seriously.
Absolutely. Other Merfolk get +1. So we have so many anthem effects for Merfolk. Like over the years, we have so many. My goodness.
How about the next dinosaur on the list?
Oh, you mean Raging Regisaur? The 4 mana for a 4/4 dinosaur that triggers Enrage? When Raging Regisaur attacks, it deals 1 damage to target creature or player. So target deals 1 damage to target Siege Horn Ceratops, giving it 2+1/+1 counters. My goodness.
Yeah, and that's every time it attacks.
The hits keep on coming. Resplendent Griffin, if it were a bird, I'd be more excited about it.
Yeah.
Stormfleet Sprinter is our unblockable.
I dig it.
Is our unblockable, is it creature? We've
I
seen,
dig him.
It's got haste. That's pretty cool.
Relentless Raptor.
I almost wish that. So it's funny. I almost wish that they would have taken Relentless Raptor and Siegehorn Ceratops and combined them into one card and called it Siegehorn Ceratops. It would have been green-white for a 3/3 with Vigilance that attacks every turn within range. That's definitely asking too much, but I can dream.
It's going to be at that new rarity.
Yeah.
Your dreams.
Yeah, my dreams. How do you feel about Azor's Gateway? How do you feel?
Let's talk about it first.
Let's talk about it.
So, it's 2 mana artifact. It's legendary artifacts. You know, Commander, no big deal, because you're only playing 1 anyway.
Look, it's Jace. He's in the air.
Oh, man. It's Jace. Yeah. 1 tap, draw a card.
All right,
Then
accept.
Exile a card from your hand.
Oh, well.
Yeah. Oh, well.
But
if cards with 5 or more different converted mana costs are exiled with Azor's Gateway, you gain 5 life.
Ooh.
Untap Azor's Gateway and transform it.
I feel like that's deceptively difficult to do.
Yeah, I do too.
With different mana costs?
Yeah, you have to be playing it in the right deck.
So, it transforms into
Sanctum of the Sun, Travis.
What
could be here?
Which does something.
Tap, add X mana of any 1 color, so just 1 color, whatever this is doing, to your mana pool, where X is your life total.
My God.
Whew.
Realistically, this is a very hard. This is like a tall order.
Yeah.
It really is. Because, okay, how do I put this? In Standard, I don't see this like getting played at all.
Right.
I really don't. Unless there's like the breakout deck that just like is meant to like control, runs like a ton of negates and other counter spells. The one counter spell that could be 1 mana after attacks have been made because of raid or whatever. But and I don't know. But like in Commander, I think it's a little bit more viable. However, if you're a smart Commander player, I feel like you're running a decent package of things that can remove artifacts or destroy artifacts. And then you've essentially drawn a couple cards and exiled some stuff from your hand.
So completely off topic from this card, though. I just realized a lot of our unblockable cards are easy triggers for raid.
There you go.
So there you go.
Yep. Those raid triggers.
Get that 1 mana counterspell going.
Azor's Gateway is a hard nut to crack. I feel like this card goes into the type of deck that also runs Maze's End.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of how I feel about it. Like, it's like a pie in the sky type thing where, like, you're like, I'm going to get, you just pile it in a deck that has, like, Azor's Gateway, Maze's End, like, Door to Nothingness, all these, like, crazy, like, stuff where if you get any one of them off, so the idea is that you give your opponents slowly more and more threats where they can't deal with all of them. So at some point, you're just going to go off and it's going to be crazy with something.
Right.
Even with Sanctum of the Sun, in that deck that I'm talking about, Fireball.
Yes.
Like, this, you know what I mean, though? Like,
mm-hmm.
It's that type of deck where you just run all of the really silly win conditions, but because of the nature of it, you're bound to get one of them off. Because what you do is you run stuff like, Propaganda, you run stuff like Ghostly Prison, Sphere of Safety, stuff to protect your life total. You run stuff like Leonin Abunas, which gives all of your artifacts hexproof. And so you really just run a ton of things to slow your opponent down. And just eventually you're going to be able to just, one of those things is going to go off and it's going to set off a chain reaction that's just going to win you the game. Or you're just going to lose horribly. The odds are stacked against you, but if you make the right deck, I feel like this card could have a spot in it.
Yeah. So how about you talk about the Immortal Sun?
The Immortal Sun, the thing that everyone has been searching for this whole time, the thing that Jack Sparrow's compass points to, the thing he most desires. 6 mana artifact that has many abilities. Players can't activate Planeswalker's loyalty abilities. This hoses the Super Friends deck. At the beginning of your draw step, draw an additional card. I like that. That sounds good to me. But spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. My goodness.
No way.
Gasp.
Can't get any better.
Finally, creatures you control get +1/+1. The cherry on the icing on the cake of the thing.
You know what? It's almost like this does things to every single tribe on Ixalan.
Really? So like,
you get what I'm saying? You get
I'm confused.
Planeswalkers can't leave.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Merfolk with at the beginning of your draw step, draw an additional card.
Okay.
And then
dinosaurs for the
pirates.
Oh,
pirates for that, and then
for the
spells, and then creatures with the +1 or the dinosaurs with the +1/+1. Just not vampires, because vampires are evil.
Okay.
Obviously.
Sure. I mean, I feel like this is just kind of like the all-around card. This is like
I'm talking about lore implications here.
Sure. But let's just compare this card to Staff of Nin real quick. They're both 6 mana artifacts. Staff of Nin draws you an extra card and taps to deal 1 damage to something. And Immortal Sun does everything else. Like, this card probably just replaces Staff of Nin in a lot of applications.
Yeah, we've talked about that a lot tonight.
Right?
Are you saying that there's been a lot of power creep in this set?
I don't know. I don't want to say it, but I'm thinking it.
Okay.
Awakened Amalgam.
Yeah. Is it any good?
I like Awakened Amalgam.
4 mana for an artifact creature golem, star. Power and toughness are each equal to the number of differently named lands among you control. Not hard to enter.
Brandon, in the mono brown deck, all your lands have to be different names.
Oh, damn it. I about called you Colin.
You stop it.
But no, in the mono brown deck, they do not have to be all named. In your mono brown deck, yes.
Oh yeah, okay. So if you run a ton of wastes, sure, I stand corrected as far as that goes. But the way that I'm playing mono brown with very few wastes,
you're playing it like I used to play it,
right?
Which is not how I like to play it.
So if this card is played on curve, it's essentially a 4/4, and it just gets better as the game goes on.
Right.
Captain's Hook. Captain's Hook is a 3 mana equipped creature, gets +2/+0, has menace. Menace is the keyword to keep an eye on here, and is a pirate, which is pretty cool. In addition to its other creature types, whenever Captain's Hook becomes unattached from that permanent, destroy that permanent. Why? I have no idea.
Because you're taking their arm off, and obviously they're going to bleed to death
I
because they're a
guess.
pirate.
I mean, it's
they need
another
oranges,
type of effect
obviously.
like one of my favorite equipment,
Grafted warrior.
Grafted War Gear. I love this card. And it equips for 1, which is it's a very competitive equip cost. The fact that it gives menace, the real reason why I really like this card.
Yeah.
How do you feel about Golem Guardian?
Really don't.
Or Golden Guardian?
I really don't feel about it.
I thought this card was a lot better until I really thought about it.
Yeah. So what does it do?
So at 4 mana for a 4/4 with Defender, you have to kind of ask, okay, what does this do other than just sit there? But for 2 mana, it fights another target creature you control.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you could be like, oh, it triggers Enrage, but that's 4 damage you have to deal to one of your creatures. And then when Golden Guardian dies this turn, return it to the battlefield transformed, and it transforms into Goldforge Garrison, which is a really cool name.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a land that adds 2 mana of any one color, and for 4 in tapping it, so essentially 5. You create a 4/4 colorless golem.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's the fact that you have to fight your own thing.
And it has to kill it in 1 turn.
Right.
And so I was reading like the comments on Mythic, people are discussing this card, and one person said like, so like you fight the golems protecting the foundry or whatever, but then you kill the golem and get access to the foundry, and this is what it is, and you now control the golem. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's got to be a way to make this like okay, but it's just like that's like a hefty thing to have to deal 4 damage.
Right.
But you know.
But then I mean, after the fact that you're only paying 4 mana to make 4.
I guess.
So, but
you have to tap that too, so it's like you can make 1 a turn. I mean, there's got to be some sort of like silly breakout strat for this. I don't know.
Well, you can. I mean, unless you're making it attack a down.
Sure.
So
yeah,
that's the only way you can get real value.
That could work. Getting up to the last couple cards here. Silent Gravestone, Brandon, the graveyard hate card of the set.
1 mana artifact. Cards in graveyards can't be the target of spells or abilities.
All right.
4 in tap. Exile Silent Gravestone and all cards from all graveyards, and then you draw a card.
So it's no Relic of Progenitus.
Yeah. I like the art though.
Oh, the art is great.
It's got like every tribe represented in the art.
Yeah. It's no what's that? Grafdigger's Cage.
Grafdigger's Cage, yeah. Or Tormod's Crypt.
Grafdigger's Cage, an apostrophe. Gosh darn it! I realized it too late. Hopefully I spelt it right. Maybe I didn't. I should just do. How am I going to find this? Apostrophe S Cage. Oh, it worked. I literally searched apostrophe S Cage.
Oh, man.
You gotta learn those shortcuts for getting around Gatherer when you're recording a show. But yeah, like you said, all the tribes are represented here, and it's pretty neat. Tell us about Gleaming Barrier.
Gleaming Barrier is a 2 mana artifact creature wall, 0/4. It's got Defender. When Gleaming Barrier dies, create a colorless treasure artifact token with tap, sacrifice this, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool.
Fine. Yeah. Neat, I think.
It's a common.
It's a common. Yeah.
How about the best kind of treasure is the kind that leads to other Travis? The Traveler's Amulet reprint?
Oh, yeah. I like Traveler's Amulet well enough.
Yeah. I'm talking about the flavor text on it, though.
Right. I like how... Is it pointing to the Araska, or is Araska pointing to it?
You will never know.
I can't tell.
Right.
Well, I don't know. If you look at this and think about it logically, I guess it kind of looks like the light is a little bit brighter towards the relic. Like you can kind of see a little bit of a like egg-shaped or spherical-shaped like light that kind of fades off. So maybe it's pointing towards Traveler's Amulet is leading the wearer, the user towards Araska or whatever. But other than that, we have Arch of Araska kind of wrapping it up here. A land that has Ascend. So if you have the thing, you get the thing. We haven't had Ascend. I have to explain it.
Nope.
Crap.
I win.
If you control 10 or more permanents, you get the City's Blessing for the rest of the game. Taps for 1 colorless, and then for 5 and tapping it. So essentially for 6 mana, you are drawing a card, but you're activating it only if you are Ascended. Having the City's Blessing, whatever you want to call it.
6 mana or 5 mana draw a card? No thanks.
Yeah. Real quick, let's just blaze through these Planeswalker deck cards, because Brandon actually brought a good point up against this, that we have a Vraska card. She is black, just black, not black-green, just black, but she's not in the set.
No, nope. So every set previously, when we've had a Planeswalker decks, the Planeswalkers in those decks have been represented in the set itself.
All right.
So coming into the set, everybody thought we were going to have a new Vraska.
Yeah.
A new black Vraska, because something happened in the story for something to happen, but we didn't.
Yeah. So tell us about Vraska Scheming Gorgon.
Vraska Scheming Gorgon, 4 black for a 5 loyalty. +2 creatures you control get +1/+0 until end of turn. Okay.
Sure.
-3 destroy a creature.
Sure.
Okay.
Does it go on Assassins, Brandon?
No.
No?
No. It's not good enough.
All right.
Sorry. -10 until end of turn. Creatures gain Death Touch, and whenever this creature deals damage to your opponent, that player loses the game. I changed my mind. I forgot about what it did.
Oh, jeez. All right.
So, yeah.
I like her pinstripe pants.
Yeah.
Those are fine.
Very piratey.
Yeah, sure. But she's the Black Planeswalker. It's like she's like, you know, like it's on par with the Planeswalkers in the Planeswalker decks we've seen in the past.
Mm-hmm.
So Angrith Minotaur Pirate is 6 mana, comes in with 5, and then for +2, you can deal 1 damage to target opponent and each creature that player controls, which could totally work against you if you're playing against the dinosaur deck.
Yeah.
Like trigger all that in Rage. For -3, you can return target pirate from your graveyard to the battlefield. That's good. That's actually pretty good. And then for -11, destroy all creatures target opponent controls. Angrith Minotaur Pirate deals damage to that player equal to their total power. This is way better than Vraska, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't know. This just seems...
When we've seen Angrath for the first time, we could have easily passed the card set.
Yeah, this card seems
and
sweet.
Not the Planeswalker deck one.
Yeah. And then we, of course, have the 2 cards that are the tutors for them. We have Vraska Scorn, being 4 mana for sorcery. Target opponent loses 4 life. You can search for Vraska, reveal it, and blah, 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 reveal it, put it in your hand. Right. And then Angrith's Fury, sporting some pretty sweet artwork there. He's like burning a library or something.
Yeah.
And then for 5 mana, you can destroy target creature, deal 3 damage to target player, and then search for Angrith. And then we have a couple cards that get a little bit of a benefit from their respective Planeswalkers being in play. But that's just about all we've got for the series. This is the end.
Yeah. How do you feel?
I feel like this set is awesome. This block is awesome. I'm just like, even just like scrolling back through it, even look at these come into play tap lands. Highland Lake, Forsaken Sanctuary. They're like the come into play tap lands of the set, but the artwork is just amazing. Like Woodland Stream.
I'm not gonna lie, that art for Evolving Wilds is not bad either.
Yeah, and Evolving Wilds we've seen time and time again. So, like even just like this basic land art is really good. So, I mean, this set like hits on all levels for me. I think this set is just crazy. This block is insane. I'm super excited about what we've got here, and I can't wait to start playing some dinosaurs. I can't wait to seeing what people come up with, like in our play group and outside of our play group, for like different like combos and stuff, just different strategies, different builds for the vampire deck moving forward, for the merfolk deck moving forward. There's just a little bit for everyone here. If you're a tribal player, I guess, and even if you're not a tribal player, there's still a lot of really powerful cards in this set.
Stuff in here for you.
Yeah, you're not like shoehorned into playing in tribal if you're using stuff from this set, just because there's just a lot of really powerful cards.
Yes.
So,
as we've talked about, there's been a lot of power creep in this set.
Yeah.
At least from what we could tell from how we've been comparing them to other cards.
Yeah. So there is a ton of amazing stuff. I mean, I could just
crazy lore implications going on.
Stay tuned for the impending lore episode to find out what the heck happens.
Yeah.
So that's gonna do it for this episode of Commanding Magic. I hope everyone has enjoyed the format that we've done here. It's made it a lot easier for us to not get burnt out. We've been able to take little breaks here. This has taken a long time for us to record. This was all recorded in the span of one evening.
Yep.
But I haven't felt burnt out.
Nope.
Throughout this whole thing, just because of the way we did it. Doing it in one shot, like as a whole segment, is really hard.
And we kept it moving. We didn't spend too much time talking on, cars for too long, except for called Form of the Dinosaur.
Oh yeah. But yeah, check us out on social media, Facebook, Twitter.
Tell us about how you felt about us doing spoiler season like this.
Yeah, this is a totally new thing for us.
The next spoiler season, if we don't do Masters 25, which who knows what that even is, but that's the next set that we look forward to is Masters 25.
Yep.
Then after that, it is Dominaria in April.
Yep. So like, comment, subscribe, give us some feedback. We're both feeling pretty good, really good, in fact, about just how this episode went, the flow, the format, everything. I hope everyone is starting off with a great new year, and we look forward to seeing everybody as 2018 goes on. Look forward to the anniversary / end of season 2 episode eventually, and then eventually we will be going into season 3 with open minds, new ideas. We're going to play some cards, and it's going to be a good time. It's going to be Travis and Brandon returning to the command zone.